So welcome guys to the second episode of my 10th anniversary series here, celebrating 10 years of my YouTube channel with a few new reviews for you guys. And I couldn't make this series without reviewing a diesel car, of course. Not everybody will agree with me and my appreciation for this engine technology, which I'm well aware of, but I think this new Audi S7 here is a car that has a few very interesting things for me to talk about that make it a very exciting car. And it also, of course, now has a diesel engine. Not in every country, I'm well aware of that. In the US and I believe also in the Middle East and in Asia, this car comes with a well-known V6 gasoline engine from the Audi RS4 and RS5, and also from the Porsche Panamera 4S and S model. This interior here, that's the first thing that I want to talk about, actually is such a beautiful place, so well made. The quality is amazing. This car here has the optional aluminium package in it, which I think is around 300 euro. Very Audi in my opinion, having aluminium in the car. And yeah, it just gives this car a very modern and a very exclusive feeling. I like it. I love the design language, but even more the usability of this two-screen multimedia interface here. I've heavily criticized Porsche's new system in the last review that I did, but if you sat in this car in comparison to the 992, I guess you would understand what I mean. Coming from, the VW group, these two companies have achieved such different levels here of, usability. It's amazing to me. In the Audi S7 here, the screens are facing me as the driver. They are, really nice touch screens. Feel really high quality. The graphics are amazing, and just it's so easy to use. It's so logical. It's not crowded. It's just beautiful, And also here the other controls on the second screen in front of the shifter here are just so nicely executed and so logical. That gives you really high quality feeling, and that's what you want from a car that costs over 80,000 euro base price, and in the case of the car that I'm driving here, over 108,000 euro with options. So this engine here makes 349 horsepower and 700 Newton meters of torque. Now that's a very interesting headline, I have to say, but the driving experience of this engine is, in some ways I would say interesting. So Audi has given this car a 6-cylinder 3-liter diesel engine with a single turbocharger, and on top of that an electric supercharger. This electric supercharger is meant to help you to have less turbo lag, of course. So it works actually from idle basically to 1650 RPM, Audi says. Now interestingly, the full 700 Newton meters arrive at 2,500 RPM, and this gap between 1650 and 2,500 RPM is still really noticeable in this S7. So you drive off and you think, this could feel a little bit faster, where's the oomph, And then suddenly all the 700 Newton meters arrive. You get a really nice push forward and a really nice surge, but on the top end, it actually lets loose a little bit and doesn't feel that nice to rev out, even though you have the possibility to rev this engine out to 5,000 RPM, which for a diesel engine is, I guess a lot. Nobody really does that, but it's interesting that this car struggles driving off, even though it has this electric supercharger. That's not that nice actually, and it just feels like there's a step in the rev range here. So with Audi cars, there's always this, suspicion of understeer, a car that doesn't feel that great to drive on the limit when you push it. And I have to say, having worked as a road test editor for a magazine that recorded lap times and performance data, a much more professional testing environment than any YouTuber could actually offer, I have to say my appreciation for Audi and my understanding of the way they work has changed a lot. And especially the appreciation for S models was something that was really interesting for me, doing tests between cars from the RS department and from the S department, you could say. As you can see from this technical footage, the S7 comes with Audi's quattro all-wheel drive system and can be fitted with the optional dynamic 4-wheel steering and Audi sport differential on the rear axle for improved agility and handling in corners. In combination with the optional air suspension and Audi's drive select system, you can have a comfort setting, an automatic and a sporty dynamic mode for the dampers. All chassis components are controlled by Audi's electronic chassis platform ECP, which coordinates the shock absorber's action within milliseconds. By collecting comprehensive information about the movement of the car and using data from the chassis control systems involved, the ECP calculates and coordinates the optimal function of these components in an integrated handling controller. As well as the dampers, the EPC controls the dynamic all-wheel steering and sport differential. This differential is well known from Audi's latest RS cars, but from my experience sometimes struggled to get into play because of their harder damper settings and big wheels with low sidewall tires. On entry, all the weight dropped onto the car's nose, resulting in understeer, before the helpful push from the differential on the outside rear wheel became noticeable at the apex. In the softer S4 and S5 for example, it works much better, resulting in a brilliantly fun agility and less understeer.
So here's a really tight corner and I will show you the phenomenon that I mean. Normally when you push through a corner like this in an Audi car you get understeer, but if you stay committed to the throttle in the dynamic mode, there's the suggestion of oversteer because the car then puts noticeably more power to the rear wheels. And yes, that's really nice. That's what we call, great handling in my opinion. It feels up on its toes, it feels really agile, and just a surprisingly good driving experience for a car of its size. Yeah, it's not the most natural feeling. You can always sense that there are some computers stringing together everything, but the execution and how well it works is exciting to me. And yeah, I hope it comes across in this video. You really have to try it. You have to be able to drive the car to this limit to get this effect and to appreciate it. And yeah, not everybody does that, When you get into this car, especially here on winter tires, and yeah, you try to drive it like a normal person would, you will get a little bit of understeer there and say, oh, it's a typical Audi thing, understeer. But if you have the kind of roads to do this on, and when you stay committed to the throttle and yeah, also switch off the electronics to a certain point where it allows you a little bit more play, then you have to appreciate what Audi has done here. I think it's something that really excites me, and it's nice to tell this story with you, to tell this story just because we all have such a different picture of Audi, I think, On that note, guys, I'm going to enjoy myself a little bit more here with the 700 Newton meters. This thing properly goes. And yeah, can't wait to read your comments and see you in the next one.